Welcome back to the channel, DIY folks of the internet. Today's project is on my sister's 2015 Wrangler named the Blue Sea. And the Blue Sea's issue is she cannot keep the Black Sea contained inside the engine block where it belongs, but rather allows it to spill down the side of the engine block and on top of the transmission bell housing. I'm not familiar with the Wrangler platform, but reading around online, it seems this oil cooler is a pretty common failure point. Curious to see what we're going to find when I get in there. I don't think that this has ever had the oil cooler replaced, and this has 165,000 miles on it. But I've also noticed online that there's a huge aftermarket for these oil coolers, and even some designs going to an all aluminum housing. I'm not familiar, so let me know in the comments. Do you stick with like the Mopar? Or do you go the aftermarket, like the Dorman? This that she had got, I'm assuming it's going to be a Dorman. It is from AutoZone. I'm assuming Dorman would be their vendor. Let me know in the comments on what you guys would do. Personally, if you've watched any of my other videos, I tend to stick to OEM parts, even if it is slightly more expensive. Because the OEM part number, which will be listed down in the description, as well as the one that she got from AutoZone. The OEM one does not include the two sensors. You have to buy those separately. Actually, I wonder, I just realized this is a cartridge oil filter. Is there an oil filter in this? Cosmo, you make me step on your tail. Let's see, is there an oil filter in this? At least a cartridge one. What is this? Well, it's not an 18. 22? Is it a 23? No. Okay, 25. Success on the first try. I also clearly don't know how to open this. I'm hoping there's a filter in there because I didn't get a new filter. Well, this is kind of infuriating. And I have a filter. Okay, good. This from AutoZone also came with new gaskets for the intake plenum, the upper and the lower. So with that out of the way, let's get into this, shall we? I do gotta say, there's no hood release inside the vehicle. That's kind of unique. I don't have to deal with that. Guess you don't have to worry about your hood ever getting your cable ever rotting away. Put this up there so we don't scratch the paint. And then I'm assuming there's a thing underneath here that lifts this up. Hey. And I do gotta say, being able to fold this all the way back gives you plenty of room to work on this up front. Okay, I'm kind of jealous of that from a mechanic standpoint. So now that we're here, let's see what needs to be removed to get to where we need to go. Oh, that comes off pretty simple. And she's got a giant steel bumper up front, so that gives me a nice little platform to rest my body on here. Let's see, what do we got to get to where we need to go? So, oil filter. What tubes are we going to need to remove this oil filter? That's a star down in there. Uh-oh, I think I have a star. I see an oil leak right here where my left hand's at. The valve cover gasket looks like it's starting to leak right there. Let's see. Well, there's plenty of oil down inside that valley. All right, let's see. What am I going to need to get some of this stuff off of here? Well, it looks like we've got throttle body comes off. Something tells me it should not be that loose. Can I remove? Let me get a screwdriver and some pliers and see if what we got to take off here. Let's see. Can I just unscrew this boot? And take this off. If that's off, I don't think I have to remove this snorkel right here. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have? That comes off. Some kind of breather. That should come off. Does this come off? No, not easily anyway. Gingerly, without ruining anything. Just loosen that up. Oh, is that supposed to have oil in it like that? Curious. Which side's gonna come off easier? Let's try the side of the snorkel here. What the heck? This looks to be brittle and it's gonna be a pain in my ass. That's what this looks like it's gonna be. Nope, that's twisting the whole thing. Let's not go down that road. So we're stuck over here with this guy. Okay. Hose done, hose done. I'm assuming they gotta come out of this bracketry we got right here. Looks like those just kind of fold out of the way. And we got some star bits. What do we have on this side? Over here, we've got, well, there's a sensor right here underneath this throttle body. I'll go back over there and look at that. There's a sensor right here. Gingerly unplug that. There's a bracket right there. What the? What is the bracket? Okay. Okay. And then we got a valve vacuum hose right here. It's looking kind of crusty. I hope I can get that off without actually breaking it. And we got two nuts right here, it looks like. Somebody's been here before. This Christmas tree's broke down here. And that one doesn't even stay in there. All right, where'd my... Pull this vacuum hose off right here. Oh, just a little... Okay. That's out of the way. Now there's a sensor right here underneath this intake plenum hose. So how do we, does it have a clip on it? Does it clip? What does it do? How does it work? There, looks like it's just a little clip. Just kind of press down on the back of it and pull down. Only it's very small. One other, let's see. Got a problem solved as I'm doing this in real time, you know? Well, that's not coming undone. So, well, this bracket right here is loose. And there's missing a bolt right there. Okay. Let's see. Let's pop this out and see if I can't just remove this tube right here. What does that look like? A 10? Please, please be a 10. First try. Now this is already loose. Can it go any more looser? Move this hose for the overflow coolant. And this should pop up on out of here. Now, is there a little clip right here? There is. Ow, that's my nail. So you don't have much wiggle room with doing this. So you gotta be kind of careful about, oh, what the hell? That was unique. on this clip, on the back side of where my thumb's at, you push this down and just pull straight down. And that allows that to be removed. Is there anything else down here? This bracket right here, throttle body, intake plenum, there's a bracket right there. We got 2 bolts down here to this bracket. So I'm wondering if I can just pull these 2 bolts off and this bracket comes off with the intake plenum. Then I don't have to disconnect the throttle body either. Let's try that. What size are those bolts? Can we be consistent and say it's a 10? Hey, it's actually a 10. So under this throttle body, there's 2 bolts, size 10. 10 millimeter. That was pretty easy. That was pretty easy. Even the fender doubles as a tool platform to hold your tools. How you like that? Oh shit. Oh, well look at that. It rolled right out from underneath the Jeep and came back to me. Ironically, it was a 10 millimeter. This coolant hose is kind of in my way at the moment. Boy, that's pretty damn small. Okay, those 2 are done. And then there's a bracket right here. It's got to come apart too. There's 2 nuts right here on top. And there's 2 nuts. Oh, snap. Well, those are buried down in there. I'm wondering, one's right here where my hand's at, and the other one's back in the back. Something tells me loosening the 2 front nuts on top is not going to remove or give me enough room to remove this plenum. Right? Wonder if I could just tweak that just a bit. I don't have to dig down in there to get those bolts. Well, I wonder what size bolts those are. Are these nuts? Because it's way down in there. I don't think it's a 10. Let's try a 14. I can't even get my hand down in there. The wiring harness is in the way, the steering shaft is in the way. How the living world is this supposed to work? Wiring harness? Ooh. Wiring harness? I think I'm going to not do that. One moment. What does the Haynes manual say? The Haynes manual wasn't much help because it didn't say anything about these 2 nuts down here at the bottom, unless I misread it. It did say remove this Christmas tree off of this bracket back here though. So I'm gonna go back to my original idea, and that is to remove these 2 nuts right here and gingerly tweak this bracket towards me when the time comes. I do have to say this is pretty straightforward so far. Don't drop your nuts down there because you might not get them back. Now on this side, whoop. Okay, well don't put your elbow there because you're gonna fall into the engine. On the left side, or the right side of the engine, we've got 2 bolts right here, and then we have what appears to be star, or maybe an 8 millimeter bolt for that. And then we got bolts right here too. Is there a bolt hidden in the back? And there's a bolt hidden all the way in the back where my hand is at as well. Okay, let's see. Are these a 10-2? Is Jeep consistent? Hey, they're pretty consistent. Hey, don't be leaning on that air cleaner right there because it's gonna fall. I just smashed my finger. Well, what the? Wait a minute here. Hold up. This electrical connector is on a bracket, which goes down the entire side, over this valve cover and down to the side of the engine. Why? Can I tweak this up? Well, this looks to be tweakable, but this is this looks to be the heater core lines. Okay, this might be a more pain in the ass. Let's see if we can't get these bolts out. Are they an 8? 8, 8, 8 looks good to me. Okay, well clearly I don't need that big of a ratchet. Maybe I do. Are they captive? Yes. Oh, 7 to 9 Newton meters. That's pretty cool. I like how they give you the torque spec right on top of the actual part. Other manufacturers, take a few notes. At least on that aspect. That's pretty handy. There's two bolts here. Oh, right here must be the lower intake plenum, and this must be the lower intake plenum, and this must be the upper. Okay. That's not captive, that's gonna come out. This breather hose is in my way at the moment. I do also gotta say, it's kinda nice to be able to lean over the engine bay and have somewhere to rest your body weight. That's not captive either, which probably means this one back here isn't captive. Now, there's one more all the way in the back there. Probably gonna need a universal to get that one. Let's see, is this extension far enough back in there? It's kind of there. Probably need to remove this foam insert right here so that I have room to get to that bolt. Does this just pop up? Oh, okay. Well, listen. Okay. That looks pretty straightforward. Well, I don't think it's the way you're supposed to do it, but it's how I'm doing it. Okay. So now we double check all of our stuff here. What is the point of this hose? I digress. This is a breather hose. This is another breather hose here. Does this pop up? Okay, I'm loose. Probably gonna have to tweak a few things. Probably gonna have to tweak this bracket up and out of the way just slightly to get this to fold up and over. And since this bracket looks to be more malleable than the bracket over there, tweaking this up just a bit allows me to get this movement, but it is catching back here. So I wonder, does this come up? Well, it does now. It doesn't look like it's supposed to. And then this slides back. Ooh. Okay. But does that give me anything? Not particularly. So that does not need to be undone. Why would you put a wiring harness like right there anyway? Can this get out of my way and fall over there? And then this can come somewhere else. If I can try to, does this back lift up? Am I forgetting any of the bolts? No, not really. Other than this bracket. Where is the bolts for this the bracket right here? She's got a fender on, or fender letters installed. I don't know if I'm going to go through all that trouble. Okay, we are up and away. Oh, I forgot this bracket's back there. Might have to take that bracket off in the back. Because I'm not sure this bracket right here is going to allow me to have enough leverage, or is going to allow me enough tweaking, per se, to get this up and out of here. Like fold it up this way and up and over. Oh, cleared a little bit here. Oh, man, this is probably more of a challenge than what it should be. If I don't say so myself. This tube's in my way. Can this tube be connected and pulled out of here? Is it just a press fit fitting somewhere? Because it's really in my way. Where does it go? Ouch, my hand is caught on like everything. Okay, don't stick your hand down in there. Lesson learned. Oh. Shoot. I don't know, is this loose all the way? Okay. Make sure all the bolts are loose before you start trying to pry at everything. Duh. This hose is in my way. That's a big moment. I'm gonna try and bend this bracket up. That's the goal at the moment. But I also gotta make sure that I don't drop anything inside or underneath this intake plenum. Oh, maybe we have to go to the other side and take that bracket off. What is this, a size 14? I can't even get down in there. That's the thing. That's probably why I avoided this side to begin with. Oh. What if I tweak this side? Ooh. Hey, that works. Splendiferously. Now, very carefully, this should, well, clearly it's gonna fight me every step of the way. Did I forget a bolt somewhere? Yes. That one's done. That one's done. Okay. And the intake's out. I'm just gonna lay that over there upside down because the wiring harness for the throttle body is connected to it. So I don't want it to be damaged in any way. Now, this is in my way. Can I gingerly put this underneath something so it's not in my damn way? Clearly not. Oh, this looks to be another challenge. What's all connected to this inner intake plenum thing? which is going to need new seals anyway. This is still in the way too. So you sit over there. Everything is, I don't want to take that off. Okay. All right, so very gingerly, we got, what, 2, 4, 6, 7 bolts. Is there another bolt back in there? There is, right here where my hand's at. 2, 4, 6, 8 bolts for this lower intake plenum. My entire segment here had lost audio. So what you see here is I have a T20 Torx bit in my hand. And if you see below my left hand, the bolt for the lower intake plenum is already removed. At this point, I had already went through and removed the perimeter 8 bolts around the lower intake. They're going to be a T20 or an 8mm. And I'm fighting with this breather hose right here. Right here, I am trying to see if the lower intake plenum is released while holding that stupid breather hose in my hand. And thus then I'm going around and making sure all the perimeter bolts are removed. And as you can see right there, I have some play and I'm able to lift up the lower intake plenum, grabbing the socket and getting after one of those middle bolts. Right here, I'm seeing the back left bolt is still kind of intact with the intake of the engine, so I'm loosening up this bolt as well. Should also be very careful that you don't drop any small debris down your lower intake. You'd want to cover this area with shop paper towels. As you can see right here, again, going after one of those bolts on the side of the lower intake plenum, reaching underneath this bracket is mildly infuriating to deal with. I don't have shop towels, I just have paper towels, and that's just gonna have to work. This hose is definitely on my last of patience here. Get this out of the way. Nothing wants to stay out of my way. So we gingerly, that looks like the fuel rail. Wonder if I can just take this and fold it over. Can I do that? Aren't we all loose in the back? Can I just take this? I'm gonna cut this hose off. That's what's gonna end up happening. Can I gingerly? Nope. Well, we're up and away. No, we're not. Missing a bolt right here. Okay. That's free. Can I gingerly? Oh. Wow. That's a challenge. On this side, the right side, you're gonna have to pull the wiring harness of the fuel injectors. Or you could remove the fuel injector rail, but that's probably full of fuel. And something tells me this bracket's like right here in the way. So there's really not much to, well, there really was no sense in pulling that apart, was there? Because that's not even connected down there. It's not connected there either. I'm tempted to get a cutoff wheel and cut this bracket off. Zzz. I digress. It's not my vehicle, I can't do that. Oh shit. Boy, Chrysler, you really know how to design this. Let's see if I can't get a pick a small flathead screwdriver and remove this wiring harness for those fuel injectors. So down in here, it's gonna have a red tab. I'm assuming you can get your hands in there, pull the tab up towards you. Might be easier if you just tack down the lower intake plenum so that it doesn't come up as you're trying to do this. This hose is in my way. This wiring harness is in my way. There's a lot of crusties in here. This is becoming a rather pain in the ass. I can't get, I would think. Using a small pick right here. I don't have an idea what I'm doing right now. Okay, one down. Okay, one down, five more to go. But getting to them, that's going to be a pain in the ass. Primarily because this bracket's in the way. Oh, what the fuck happened there? And one of these injectors is right here underneath this bracket. And there's no way to get to it. The wiring harness is right here. This bracket's over that. Okay. Oh, come on. Yeah, damn thing. Come on. Why the fuck does this not want to come up? I can't get the red tab to pop up. Oh my god, finally, the bitch come apart. Well, it popped up anyway. Now I gotta gingerly push this black tab in while simultaneously pulling up gingerly. While reaching around these heater core hoses right here just to get to where I need to go. While breathing in all of this fumes that's down in here. This bracket is really in my fucking way. Oh god. That was a bitch and a fucking half. Why is there a rock down there? Okay. Before I pull this plenum off, I'm gonna get the air hose. I'm gonna try and blow this out. And that is why you want to put towels inside that your plenum. All right, now I gotta untack these. This fucking thing is in my goddamn way the entire time when I'm doing this repair. What the hell am I caught on now? Oh. I'm gonna get a fucking saw and cut this bitch off. Why couldn't they run it this way and over? Okay, we're disconnected there. God damn it. More Christmas trees, son of a bitch. Gingerly. God damn it. Holy shit. Okay. We just kind of gingerly hold that back. Now, we need to cover those valve ports up, or those intake valves up very quickly, because there's too much trash down in here. Let me get this other port back in there. Okay. Now, can I gingerly pull these spark plug wiring harnesses off? Okay. Okay. Now, can I bend this back more? No. What? Oh, there's a zip tie or something back there. There's a Christmas tree clip right here. I wonder if I can pry that off. Okay, that worked. And there's another small Christmas tree. Can I pry it up? Oh my God, I'm tired of this fucking design already. Okay. Can I pry this off? This fucking hose. Okay. So it looks like behind this lower intake manifold, there's a Christmas tree harness right here that I just took off. You know what? Since this gets new gaskets anyway, I'm going to take the time to pull these fuel injectors right here off too. That is when I find the screwdriver. Oh, it's always the last one that's going to give me trouble here. There we go. Okay. The other thing that's connected is the fuel line. And as you're doing this, you got to make sure you don't damage your fuel injectors that are right here. So don't be ginger or get pissed like I was. There's a lot of carbon buildup on these. What is that, the driver's side? Okay. So now we get the air hose and blow all this shit out of here and do what we can to kind of clean this up a little bit. All right. So lower intake is removed. Got the air hose out. I blew this out as much as I could. Read over the Haynes manual for removing this oil cooler. Says you got to drain the coolant, but I don't know if you got to drain the coolant system itself. But I do think this big hose right here is the coolant hose, and that goes down to the bottom of this oil cooler. So I have a feeling when you remove that spring down there, you're gonna have coolant in this hose come out. It doesn't say a particular order. It does, the Haynes manual does say do the screws first and then do the bolts. But they all look like they're bolts, or they all look like they're screws, because I'm not removing the actual cooler itself. So I'm gonna see if I can remove this cooler first and then bring this hose up and then try to have it, and that might make it easier to disconnect the hose and hopefully hold it up so it doesn't make a mess. As for these wiring connections that sit down in here, That's another good question. I don't know. There's a clip on the bottom of this one. There's a clip on this red one. I'm going to remove this oil cooler first and then see if I can't do those connections or undo those connections. These bolts look like they're an E8. And they are. So, big ass extension. Ooh. Okay, that was pretty simple. Ugh. There's another bolt. Nope. Two more in the back. Looking at the new one, there's ports in the bottom of this oil cooler. And judging by this big hose right here, it's an oil coolant line, I would have a bucket underneath ready to go. Or you might have one hell of a mess on your hands. Where does the oil go into this? I wonder if this enters the bottom. What am I caught on? All right. And that's up and away. Oh, I hear oil coming out though. All right. So now that, okay. That's interesting. I'm gonna get the extractor and extract all that out of there. But there's no really moving this up either. So let's see if I can't pull this connector. It's gonna be a royal pain in my ass to do all this down in here now. Okay. Looks like some switch was removed. That looks pretty simple. Just tearing up my hands. No biggie here. Okay, why doesn't this one remove? And again, this hose is in the way. Again, this hose is in my way. Oh. So this whole thing pops up. Well, all right, hold on. I got all these connectors undone, with the exception of this one, which this is bolted. I'm gonna get a wrench and see if I can't rotate that up or something. Let's try a 19. Okay, 19 works. All I want to do is spin this. Ow. Oh, that's probably good. All I want to do is spin this off of here. Oh my God. So that didn't work. I'm tired of holding this tube in my damn way. Oh, so I didn't reach down far enough. There's a black tab. Pull the red tab up, then reach down farther and push the black tab up. Okay, God damn it. Everything is in. Okay. So that's connected, that's disconnected. All I have left now is to pull off this coolant hose, which I need a pair of pliers for. It's probably going to be leaking coolant everywhere. And of course, this fucking hose is in my way again. Jesus Christ. Oh. Well, at least that rotates easily. Okay. Okay. Okay, carefully. So this hose I'm going to try and keep propped up so that it doesn't leak coolant out. There's the old cooler with some very flat O-rings on it. I'm gonna use my vac here to suction out this fluid on the inside. There's a lot of valleys in here. There's so much crud in here. And probably then get a compressor and blow all this out. Now would be a time to clean everything. Okay, that probably took about 10 minutes. And I noticed that as I'm extracting the fluid out of the valley of this engine, there's two coolant lines right here and right here that are constantly gonna keep putting coolant up in there. So now I'm going to clean this all up. Clean these ports up so that the seal has something better to sit against. This hose, my God. If I haven't complained about this hose enough in this video, I'm damn sure I'm not gonna stop now. Now that I've spent probably close to 20 minutes cleaning, wiping everything inside this valley down to the best that I can, I think it's time to put the new oil cooler on. Now for the cooler. The procedure, both the Haynes manual and the directions that came with this cooler say to put the cooler in first and then make the connections. But given how complicated that may be, I'm gonna put the coolant hose on first and then put it down in there. You also wanna be careful that you don't lose any of your screws, but this seal right here doesn't get rolled over when you put this in the block. So let's reach for this and put this on. Well, come on. There we go. Now I'm going to then pick this fucking hose up again. And as you put this down in here, that coolant hose does give some resistance. Move the wiring harnesses. So right here at the end of the light, you want to go straight down into the block. Well, what am I missing? Okay, take some force. Make sure as you're pushing on this, you're pushing straight down so you don't roll that seal that's on this side where my hand is at. Okay. Whew. Now, let's check our Haynes manual here. So the bolts themselves go to 35 inch-pounds, and that torque spec will be in the description. It does not specify a torquing sequence. 35 inch-pounds. So I'm going to torque these down. I'm going to go like every other one. Hey, give me back my socket. Okay. Now, torque them. Although I'm curious, would you guys torque these down with a torque wrench? Or would you just hand tighten and call it a day? 35 inch-pounds is not a lot of torque. Hey, give me back my socket. Torqued. Now, clip these back in. Clip that in, push the red tab down. Is it down already? Yeah, push the red tab down. Okay. That part's done. Now we gotta put new seals on this. Now gingerly, I'm gonna lay this right here. Holy crap. See if I can't clean this up a little bit. These seals are bad. Okay. I don't have a pick, but I have this very small screwdriver, so I'm gonna use this and get that out. So the old seal kind of has that concave, flat bottom, it looks like, and tapers to the top. The ones that came with the oil cooler don't really have that kind of profile. And then we just rinse and repeat. Well, this one is really bad. It's actually breaking apart on me. That one's crusty looking. Really crusty looking. Well, this is kind of tedious. Oh, come on. All right, that part's done. Now get the torque procedure for these bolts and do one final clean out of this valley right here. Now we move this fucking hose out of our way again. Now we gingerly reset our lower intake manifold down in here. Come on. Legitimately, what is the problem now? Okay. Attach the Christmas tree. Attach the Christmas trees. Okay. Camera died, and I'm not sure where it left off at. So, overlay on the screen of the torque sequence. Right here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And they get torqued to 77 foot-pounds, or 77 inch-pounds. Is that what the manual says? I believe it's 77 inch-pounds and 71 inch-pounds. Both the upper and the lower are 71 inch-pounds. So I set mine torque wrench to 75 inch-pounds because mine's from Harbor Freight, and I think it's like plus or minus 3%. So, just in case. But we start right here. 2. Hey. Oh. Well, that's an Icon Torx bit, and it just broke inside that bolt. Okay, well that's 3. Ooh. They are an 8. So since the Icon Torx bit broke, I went to an 8mm, and I'm gonna set it up with the torque wrench. 71 inch-pounds is 6 foot-pounds. The thing is, I need a swivel to get back to that back one. And I'm aware that a swivel removes torque as well. But this hose is right there. So that's 4. This is 5. 6. 7. 8. Ooh. Perfect. Pull these seals out and put the new seals in. Now these ones don't have that flat bottom like the other ones had, which is probably a good thing because these seals are probably original. Seals are done. I'm gonna go through and plug in all these injectors. Okay, make sure Christmas trees are back in their little areas. Perfect. I have no idea what he's barking about. Now there's a foam insert that goes right here, but I think this one is long gone. Now with that done, everything's connected. Double check my work. We're torqued. Everything's installed. Now we bring the intake, the upper intake, back on over. Make sure nothing's missing. And now we pull these paper towels out first. Make sure your seal stays with the with the thing. Okay, now we just tip this back on over the way that it came out. There is a foam gasket that goes right over this valve cover. I'm not sure what happened to it with what my sister did with it at the moment, but we're just gonna put this back in. Fighting this damn hose again. And there we go. And then I can gingerly reapply this to go back down. Now, am I on there right? I appear to be. No. Am I on there? We're in the bracket there. All right, now we're gonna start this torque sequence. The overlay for it will be right here. 71 inch-pounds or 6 foot-pounds. Why is this? This is catching. I hate this one all the way in the back. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Final torque down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This can go back on right here. Pain in my ass tube that it is. Wiring harness, come from the back. And take everything with you because that's what it does. Oh, it looks like it's supposed to... What the fudge? There we go. Tube. Wiring harness gets reconnected. And it goes back in this little spot. And this plate gets pushed back down. It gets torqued right here. There we go. I'm not sure what this torque spec actually is, or if there is one, so I apologize. Now, this annoying hose can go back on. Right here. This one comes back around and goes right there to the air box. And there's one more. Where did it go? Where did it go? There's one more hose that comes up here. Thankfully, it's flexible. There we go. And this goes. Come on. Now, that goes right there. Okay, we got 2 bolts over here to do. 2 nuts go right here. 2 nuts. Something tells me there should not be oil in the throttle body. I wonder if this Jeep has a lot of blow-by. There's 2 nuts down that go down here below the throttle body. One underneath this, right there. So there's 2 10mm nuts underneath there. Grab our ratchet and cinch them down. All right. Make sure this connection gets reconnected. Perfect. We gotta put this stupid hose back on too. And I think there's one more hose over here. It gets reconnected. The vacuum line just slides right on. Air intake comes back into play now, because this just kind of sits in there. And then this comes back on. And then this goes back on. And this hose comes up and over. And then this sensor gets plugged in. There. 10mm bolt. Tighten up the clamp here. Does this go right here? Christmas tree, okay. I'm assuming they're supposed to go right there, but it's broke. Okay. Clamp this down. Ouch. There we go. And tighten that down. Where's my 10? And this project is done.
And with that, the project is done. I have to say, my own novice experience working on a Pentastar V6, it looks mildly infuriating, especially with this breather hose being in my damn way and I couldn't get to really go anywhere.
But outside of that, and the stupid brackets, so I tweaked the one bracket on the right hand side up and out of the way so I get the upper intake off. But overall, it really wasn't that difficult of a job. It took me just over 4 hours start to finish. That's also with filming YouTube and going and getting other supplies like paper towels and whatnot that I might have needed. There was some time spent with the, you probably want to pick in a flathead screwdriver, because I spent some time pulling all the fuel injector wiring harnesses off as well. And on a vehicle like this old and this kind of crusty, probably want to be very, well, not probably, but you want to be very gingerly when you're in there so you don't break any of those connectors. I also spent probably about 15 minutes of time with the fluid extractor, extracting all the fluid out of the valley of the engine and cleaning that up as much as I can. And another 10 minutes cleaning up, as you saw, the intake ports as well, clean up around those. So about 4.5 hours. Now, if I wasn't filming this for YouTube, maybe take 2 hours off of that. So this could be a 2-hour job. Now that I've done it once, it won't take me near as long the next time. And I probably won't use Icon, because as you saw, one of my Icon Torx heads broke, and I had to switch out to get a socket instead and finish torquing everything down. Pretty much that's it. I am curious though. This seems to be a very common failure, not just for this Wrangler platform, but for this 3.6 Pentastar platform. And I've seen people replace this oil cooler from OEM Mopar to some aftermarket. And I've even read some good things about the doorman. The Mopar part number will be listed down in the description, as well as the part number that my sister used from AutoZone. If you want to go that route as well, will be listed down in the description as well. Do you stick with OEM or do you go with aftermarket? What is your thoughts? And looking at this old oil cooler, these seals are flat. They're pretty much in line with the oil cooler itself. They're not ridged up at all. And the O-ring that goes around this tube that goes down inside the block is non-existent. So I'm thinking, if this is the original one, this bad boy's pretty damn old. The oil pressure, if you want to test your system when you're done, the oil pressure, both warm and cold, will also be listed down in the description. All the torque specs for the cooler housing, the bolts and the screws, will be listed in the description, as well as the torque specs for the upper and lower intake plenum as well. Did I plug that hose in? No, I did not. I need to plug that one in. Oops. Always double check your work, folks. With that out of the way, that's it. On to the next project. I'll see you folks in the next one. Was that thunder? I gotta do a brake job yet. No, you need to go away.